The world's a dangerous place. Get the industry's original and most trusted laser sighting system from Crimson Trace. A laser and light systems will enhance your effectiveness and help keep you and your family out of harm's way.
I'm a gun owner.
Your views, advice, and questions are the driving force of Gun Talk.
I don't think that guns are scary things.
Visit us online at www.guntalk.com. Call Tom now at 866-TALK-GUN, 866-825-5486. Let us know what you think about the gun-related issues of the day. Now, back to Gun Talk.
Back with you here, Tom Gresham, 866-825-5486. A little bit later, we'll have some more information about our testing. We did shooting through walls, shooting water jugs, and disproving, once again, the myth of knockdown power. Showing that on video. I'll have that information for you. A lot of fun there. A lot of times you simply have to do testing. You have to find out what really goes on. Don't believe what you're told. Don't believe what you read on the internet. Don't believe what some guy on the internet said, but he does. Go out and do it yourself. That applies to a lot of things. Rather than just soaking up the information that people feed you, it's good to put it to the test. Examine it. Use the empirical method to basically figure out what happens here, what's true, what holds up. Those of you who had volunteered to be on the Gun Talk Truth Squad, we write letters, we do things, we stand up to the lies. We challenge the lies. In fact, in not very long, next hour, we're going to have somebody here who did exactly that and did it very successfully. He's a Truth Squad member who jumped in there and said, I don't believe that, and you're wrong, and here's why. You notice the last part, the here's why? You can't just say, you're wrong, I know you're wrong. You have to be able to say, this is why, and this is where I got the information, this is the source. And that brings us to a guy who has compiled a fabulous source of ammunition, if you will, intellectual ammunition for you to use. When you're talking about guns and gun rights, you're talking about gun injuries, you're talking about successful use of guns in self-defense. When you're talking about all of this thing, you need intellectual ammunition. Guy Smith is the guy who's pulled it together for you with Gun Facts. Hey, Guy, how you been doing?
I am great, Tom. So good to be on your show again.
I got to tell you, during the break, you're getting ready for this, I have already printed out, I'm not kidding you, 3 infographics from your website. The way you put these together, this is the most valuable, most useful compilation of information about homicide rates, deaths by cause, about self-defense gun use, about injury rates. It just goes on and on. How in the world do you pull all this together?
Well, I have been working on this for sneaking up on 15 years now, and it started off as a really long and nasty crib sheet, and after a while, other gun rights activists said that they needed this info, so it was formalized, it was put into a PDF file that went around. My best estimates, using some mathematical policy, was that every major edition of Gun Facts had a viral circulation of in excess of 1 million copies. And from the website, we can tell it's been downloaded into over 168 countries around the world. And oddly enough, it gets read most often in Washington, D.C., which, is a wonderful thing.
That is.
But last year we did something which I've been putting off for way too long, and we took all of that information, and it'll still be available in a PDF book or a printed book if you want to buy it at Amazon. But we took all that stuff and we put it into a modern website, what the geeks out here in Silicon Valley call a responsive website. So it reformats itself on your cell phone, it reformats on the tablet, and you can now search the entire book if you're sitting in a town hall meeting and find the facts that you need instantly. So this stuff is now in your pocket 24/7.
So if you're in a town hall meeting and a politician stands up and says, well, a gun in the home is much more likely to be used against a family member than it is a bad guy, you could just punch this up on your Gun Facts and go, wait. Here, I have the information here, and here is the source. And the important part is you provide the sources, right?
Absolutely. And if you go to gunfacts.info on your smartphone, you go up to the search bar and you key in the phrase that the politician used, because odds are he's being fed the phrase by an anti-gun group, and that's how we index the information. And odds are GunFacts is going to pop up the exact quote that he just said, and then they give you a list of the refuting facts, and there's in excess of, I think, 550 detailed footnotes, and we only pull information from highly, highly credible sources, the Bureau of Statistics, the Center for Disease Control, all the gold standard sources of data.
So when the politician says, well, don't quote me that NRA stuff, you say, well, actually, no, this is from the U.S. Justice Department, the FBI's Uniform Crime Reports, and the Centers for Disease Control.
Exactly. I've got no gripe with NRA, SAF, GAO. They're all good groups. But I made the command decision early on in the GunFacts project that we were never going to cite them because some people will not listen if it comes from them. So we go 2 or 3 levels deeper, and not only do we get it from credible sources, but because I have this degree in quantitative management and I understand research methodologies, I go in and I make sure that the research that we cite is credible. I try to avoid anything that might have any slop factor.
All right, I just clicked on something that says assorted myths. 30,000 people are killed with guns every year. Myth. The Brady campaign has a good ranking system of state gun control laws. This is the kind of stuff that gets quoted to us all the time by not just politicians, Guy, as you know, but people in the media who they have no skepticism anymore. They just suck up this stuff and regurgitate it. They
do, and I've been preaching this, for as long as I've been debunking gun control mythology, and that's that reporters are not bad people, they're busy people. And you need to be succinct and to the point and give them quality information, and eventually you build doubt in their mind. We did that here in San Francisco not too long ago. They were putting on the ballot a new gun control initiative. It was a handgun ban, as a matter of fact. Mm-hmm. And what we did was, well before the Brady campaign showed up, we got some volunteer dollars, and we mailed a printed copy of GunFacts to every working reporter in the San Francisco Bay Area. And just so happened that by the end of this, we did not see one bit of press in support of the handgun ban. We saw both major newspapers come out opposed to the handgun ban, and the Brady campaign was running around like they had never encountered a thoughtful reporter before.
Well, you know what? They ran into a brick wall made of facts, and that stopped them right there. I mean, that's the deal. We have... I don't know if you know the story, but the Truth Squad, I wanted to get 100 people to volunteer for the Truth Squad. I needed 2 people in each state that would volunteer to challenge these media lies. We currently have in excess of 70,000 volunteers on the Truth Squad.
Good Lord. Hallelujah.
Absolutely. But every one of them needs information. They need to be able to answer, because this stuff comes up. It's like trying to kill all the mosquitoes in the world, Guy. You cannot stamp out these myths, can you?
You can't, and the other side is getting more creative all the time. That's one of the reasons we went to web documentation instead of the book, because the book only got published every 6 months at its most frequent pace. Now, everything is up to the minute. And there's new myths coming out all the time, and new groups coming out. And the worst of the worst now, as far as I can tell, is this place in San Francisco called the Law Center to Prevent Gun Violence. They are the new anti-gun propaganda masters, and they are clever. And I'm in marketing as a day job, so I understand putting together sound bites and market messages. These people are a little bit slicker than anyone I've seen so far.
So they're kind of replacing the Violence Policy Center, which was kind of the marketing folks of the last decade. And now, for people to understand, this is a group made up of lawyers, right?
It is. It was originally born in the aftermath of the 101 California massacre, which was when some lunatic with a couple of handguns went into a building filled with lawyers' offices and started shooting up the place. And by the way, if you ever want an interesting guest, and I'll give you his email if you want it, his name's David. He was a lawyer in the building the day of that shooting. He escaped, and he had to bury some of his friends. And at first, he became a rabid anti-gun activist. But over the years, he got exposed to crime out in Hawaii and then up in Seattle and a few other places. And now he's a gun rights activist. And he may be an interesting person to have on your program someday.
Sure. You bet.
So I'll copy his email address. So anyway, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, Gun Facts, for people to understand exactly what it is this compilation, easy to use, easy to search compilation of information. You can get it as a PDF file, which you would download and have on your phone or your iPad or your computer. But you also now have it as a website. People can just go there, gunfacts.info, and do a search and come up with whatever it is they're looking for.
Absolutely, and now that's in the web format. Google is indexing it for me, so the information is going to be found by people who did not know they were looking for it.
Okay, now here's the thing. It is free, right?
Absolutely, 100% free. The only thing we do is once a year we have a fundraiser, which we're in the middle of right now. So if any of your listeners can drop by gunfacts.info and make a donation. We have gifts for every level of donation. But that's the only thing we do. Once a year we hold a fundraiser, and we do that to buy the printing paper and the ink for the printers. And this year we're having some custom software made to make production easier, and also buying some media lists so that we can newsjack news stories and get these facts in front of reporters even faster.
Yeah, and that was that's the whole point. It's free for us to use it. It's not free for you to put this together. So once a year you're asking for help, and I'm looking at you got your Gun Facts 2014 fundraiser, and I'm just going to direct people there. It's gunfacts.info, I-N-F-O, and you can donate at any level from $1 up. I would say, if people think this is worthwhile, and I do, maybe start at what you call the 9mm level. I love it. The different levels are 9, 40, 50, 12 gauge, and bazooka. You got to love that. So, throw some money at it, help a guy keep doing this, and while you're at it, use this as information, intellectual ammunition, if you will. Guy, I got to tell you, and people, when you go there, I'm just going to tell them right now, go over to where it says infographics and click on that, and you're going to start printing these things out, and you're going to hand them to people. You're going to say, this is what I've been trying to get you to understand, because sometimes you just got to put it in a visual form, guy, so people get it.
And we're doing more of that all the time. And if you look at the copyright page real quick, you'll see that basically you can copy and paste almost all of this information, and I encourage people to do it.
All right. You do such a good job. I cannot recommend it too highly. Just fabulous job, man.
Thank you, sir.
All righty. Listen, thank you so much. It's gunfacts.info. Check that out. Be right back with more Gun Talk.
Crossbreed Holsters is broadening our product selection to serve more of your concealed carry needs. With products handmade in the USA, like the bedside backup, gun belts, and of course our world-famous Super Tuck and Mini Tuck holsters, we understand what works, and we take pride in providing you with a quality product. At Crossbreed Holsters, we live and breathe concealed carry. We make and sell products that we believe in and products that our customers love. To see more, go to crossbreedholsters.com. That's crossbreedholsters.com.
Ever thought about building your own AR-15? Well, what about building your own AR-15 lower receiver? We're HLF Manufacturing, and we make 80% lowers. Build your rifle the way you want it. Use the parts you want. Have it all shipped to your home. We also have uppers, parts, and other things you need. We even have complete build kits to make it really easy. Visit HLFMFG.com for the whole story.
Long-range shooting is challenging and fun, but most precision rifle bullets aren't right for hunting. Nosler's AccuBond LR long-range bullets are designed specifically for hunters. They combine the incredible on-game performance AccuBond bullets have delivered around the world with incredible long-range properties. High ballistic coefficients make for bullets which shoot flat and defy the winds. The sleekest, flattest shooting, bonded hunting bullet ever designed. Nosler's AccuBond LR. For more info, visit nosler.com.
In the war on terror, fighting crime in the streets, in competition and homes around the world, one name in firearms stands out: Sig Sauer. Our pistols and rifles are renowned for their unfailing performance. This same commitment to excellence can be found in our line of SIG-TAC accessories and the training offered by the Sig Sauer Academy. For unmatched quality, reliability, and innovation when it counts, choose Sig Sauer. Visit sigsauer.com today.
Sign up for our Gun Talk newsletter and join the Truth Squad at www.guntalk.com. Now, back to Gun Talk with Tom Gresham.
I'm still going through the Gun Facts website. I cannot even believe how much information he has here. I'm looking at subheads: assault weapons, children and guns, availability of guns, crime and guns, police and guns, guns and crime prevention. It goes on and on and on and on and on. This is your place. If you're a person who likes to speak up and say, look, I know that's what you believe. I know that's what you've been told, but let me throw this thought out for you. This is what you need. This is your education. I would recommend go to gunfacts.info. I use it. I would think that you would find it interesting and a good tool. And if you are of a mind to, if you think it's worthwhile and you want to throw a few bills at them, make a contribution. The guy does a great job with it, and talk about your labor of love. I guarantee he's not making a dime. It's probably costing him money. I bet he's losing money every year on this deal. So anyway, there's a thought for you. Let's see here. Line 2. Rick is with us out of Houston, Texas. Hello, Rick.
Hey, Tom. Three things real fast. First of all, I have one of those chimney triggers, and I love it. I'm going to buy another one.
Oh, good. Yeah, Timney's making good stuff.
Well, it's a real confidence builder, and it really makes a difference. Yep. Number 2, I called you a while back about getting a suppressor, and I had some questions, and so here's my results. I have an AR-300 Whisper with a Gentech Sandstorm. Pretty disappointed. It wasn't Hollywood quiet. My gunsmith is getting me a gadget that'll slow down the bolt somehow and make more gas go out the front instead of outside. We'll see.
Let me ask you, let me ask you, are you using subsonic ammo?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
With a 200 grain bullet, and at 50 yards it's right on target. At 100 yards it is, but it drops. But although what was weird, and I'm going to play with this. At 100 yards, I had my first and third bullets touched on straight up, and my second and fourth bullets almost touched, but they were 2 inches to the left. So I'm doing something wrong. But I'll work on it. That's the fun of having a gun in a range that's fun. So I bought a 700 Remington ADL at Academy for $376 because I went up to the range. My buddies had a bunch of suppressors. They screwed one onto mine, onto a bolt action. It was much quieter. So I got it. Oh yeah, it's much better. It's still not Hollywood quiet, but it didn't hurt my ears at all. And if you're behind it, it's pretty darn quiet.
I was just going to say, because what you're really getting is it's ear safe. None of these is really Hollywood quiet because Hollywood is not real.
That's we're getting there, but I'm real pleased. I did, by the way, shoot a water jug at 50 yards, and what's funny, it didn't explode and it didn't knock over the jug, but it was fun to shoot, and it would do just fine at a pig or coyote at 50 or 100 yards, I'm sure.
Wonderful. Well, and aren't suppressors fun because you really can't shoot them without hearing protection? And with hearing protection, they're nice and quiet, not silent. Understand, people, quiet is not the same as silent, but they are fun to use. Legal in most states. Go through the process. So, hey, I appreciate the range report, Rick. In fact, what did we get? ACC. We were using. Just got some suppressors in. Using those. Again, an AR, not silent. Look, you've got an action that's opening up. It's slapping. It opens up so that the expanding gases, that sound gets out. When you shoot them in a bolt action or closed breech, that really gets a lot quieter. Make sure you're using subsonic ammo. That's going to make it quieter. Quiet, again, is not silent. Let's see. Line 3. Steve's with us in Pensacola, Florida. Hey, Steve.
Hey, Tom. How you doing?
I am good. What's up?
Well, I just wanted to call and thank you for saving me a couple $100 this last week. I Yeah, I had two items that failed, which I believe to be warranty kind of related things. One was my spotting scope, and the other was a Remington R1. Mm-hmm. And I contacted each of the respective manufacturers. They were very accommodating, sent me the return authorization, shipping labels. I got things shipped back, and at no cost to me. The spotting scope was replaced with a completely new unit, and the R1 came back within 5 days with 3 new components on it that apparently they identified as being worthy of needing to be replaced, and so anyhow, it would have cost me a couple $100 to have either had to pay for repairs myself or replace at least the spotting scope.
Well, and as you know, I always tell people, at least give the manufacturer a chance, because most manufacturers, I'm not going to say 100%, but most manufacturers really do want you to have a product that works well, and they will go out of their way to fix it or replace it for you. So I'm delighted. So you're happy.
Yeah, I just wanted to give that feedback so that your listeners know it doesn't just talk. It actually does work. So. Okay,
yeah, like I said, being polite gets you a lot further than ranting and raving too. Hey, I appreciate that report, Steve. Thank you, sir. Let's see, Clint's in Bremerton, Washington on 1. This tattoo comment really got you, huh?
Well, I read the article online that this Yahoo had a gun tattooed on his hip. Not really what I would do, but each his own, and it's America, and he has the freedoms to do it. But my big comment is that we live in such a hypersensitive era of guns right now, and I don't blame the police when they get the call and show up to investigate. My problem, I think, with that scenario is the call center, the 911 that gets the call. Right. They should be a little bit more proactive to get better intel on what's going on,
Well, exactly. I mean, I think if a dispatcher should ask, okay, there's a guy with a gun. Really? Okay, what's he doing? Well, he's walking around. Okay, is he threatening anybody? No. Well, there's nothing illegal about that, sir. We're not going to send anybody out for that. There's nothing wrong with that. They could stop a lot of these calls coming out, but of course, that's only going to happen if we demand it by talking to the mayor and the police chief and everybody else. I mean, it's up to us.
One of Talker Magazine's 100 most important radio talk show hosts in America. You're listening to Gun Talk, heard every week at this time on great radio stations across America. Stay tuned. Gun Talk is coming right back. Covering all aspects of gun ownership every week on this fine radio station. You're listening to Gun Talk with Tom Gresham.
Let's see. Oh, I did want to tell you, we will have the, it's called the podcast. It's the archive version. This show will be on the web in a few hours, sometime later this evening. I know some of you, we have built up, perhaps it's our own fault. We built up some unrealistic expectations by getting this thing out real fast, and occasionally we actually have to do some work on it. So expect it to be out sometime this evening, okay? If you miss part of it or you want to share it with someone, it should be out there by Sunday evening sometime to get the podcast version of this, where, of course, you can also hear the after show, which is the only place you can hear the after show. Our number here, by the way, is 866-TALK-GUN. Line 4, Glenn is in Eaton, Maryland. Hello, Glenn.
Hey, Tom. How you doing?
I'm good. You like belt-fed guns, huh?
I do, and I have to say I'm one of those podcast listeners, and I enjoy it every Sunday night. I really do.
Wonderful. So which belt-fed guns do you like?
I have a 50 cal JNC manufacturer out of Rainier, Washington, 50 cal, and I've got a Ohio Ordnance 1919 30 cal, and
nice.
Both semi-auto, and they are a lot of fun. A lot of fun. When you take those to the range, everybody gives you a double take. You're like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. And everybody thinks that 50 cal is just so expensive to shoot, but you can really find some good deals out there if you look around for 50 cal ammo.
Let me tell you, we were shooting 416 Remington ammo the other day, and I bet you that ammo is just as expensive as 50 cal.
Yeah, I've found it from a couple dealers for about $2.50 linked ammo shipped, which is pretty decent.
So we were paying twice as much.
Yeah. And it comes in an ammo can, which, I'm a sucker for an ammo can. So
you get a free ammo can with the deal, too. Exactly right. Now, explain to people, these are semi-autos, so there's no extra paperwork necessary on these, right?
No, none at all. I mean, it just transfers like a regular long gun on a 4473, and, it's really a lot of fun to shoot at. And I tell you what, with a T&E mechanism and a tripod, and I sandbagged the 30 cal down, but the 50 is so heavy you don't have to, really. Mm-hmm. You can get some pretty good, accurate shots. Now, you have to make sure your head spacing is dialed in perfectly, because you got to make sure that's done. But I have tools for all that, because I did in the military, too, so it's not a big deal. But once you learn how to do that, it's a lot of fun. And a lot of people don't realize this, but you have to military ammo is
you
pretty easy
to adjust
to
the
do,
headspace.
Yeah, headspace
is
pretty important.
Listen, Glenn, I appreciate that. A lot of people didn't even know you could get belt-fed semi-autos. Cool info. Let me get to Norman real quick before the break here. Norman's on 3. Norman, you got some old ammo?
Yeah, it's about 60 years old.
410, is it? It's got to be paper hulls, obviously.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Have you tried any of it?
That's the problem. I don't have any place to fire a gun off. I don't have any access to...
How much do you have? How much ammo?
I've got about 10 rounds left, and I don't want to go out. I'm 88 years old. I'm not going to be doing any more rabbit hunting.
Okay. Well, you know what? If you only got 10 rounds left, and you're not going to be doing any shooting with it, do you want to just, get rid of it?
Self-defense is all.
Oh, okay. I got to tell you, man, I would donate that somewhere, give it to the police department. Some police departments will dispose of it. I would go buy a box of 5 rounds of the new Winchester PDX 410 defensive ammo. That stuff is new. It works really well, and you're not going to have to worry. I mean, only buy 5 rounds is all you need. I would not trust my life to 60-year-old paper hull shotgun ammo. I've seen it come apart. I've seen the brass base pull off of the paper hull. It's not what I would want. Now, for those who are saying 410 for shotgun for self-defense, let me tell you, we used a 410 in our self-defense test that we were doing this week, shooting through walls and shooting jugs of water. Pretty impressive up close and personal. I mean, you get 5 feet off the muzzle. It blows a pretty good-sized hole through 2 pieces of sheetrock. Now, it doesn't go through the second one, but it works. It's nothing to sneeze at, I'll guarantee you. We also did a deal where we disproved the old concept of knockdown power. Now, the theory is you have enough energy, especially in the massive 45, and I think this probably comes as much from the movies as anything, to knock a man off his feet. Now look, if you know anything about physics, and even if you don't even know what physics is, you've heard of this. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, right? So, if there's enough energy when this bullet hits a mass, a person, for instance, to physically pick that person up and knock him off his feet onto the ground, then there would be exactly that much energy on the other end, that is, in the form of recoil. It would knock you into the air and on the ground when you fired the gun. We know that doesn't happen. So this whole concept of knockdown power may be just a little suspect. So what do? How do we test that? Well, we got some 80-pound bags of cement mix, just dry cement mix. I'm thinking, okay, put 2 of those together, you got 160 pounds, that's a person. We shot them with everything. We couldn't even move them. We broke them open. We had this cement mix poured out all over the place. Finally, I got fed up, and I took out a .416 Remington Magnum and whacked it with that. I don't know what that is, 4,000 foot-pounds of energy or something. It was pretty impressive. It blew a hole in the side of the bag, but that's all it did. So knockdown power, no. Trauma can stop somebody instantly. You have to destroy tissue. That's what, if you're going to, I don't care if you're knocking down a hog or a bear or a deer or a guy who's trying to cut off your head with a knife, you got to tear stuff up. It's not a case of transferring energy to him. Exactly. It's using that energy to do what you got to do. 866-TALK-GUN. Give me your range report.
The XDM 3.8 Compact from Springfield Armory is 2 guns in 1. Use as your concealed carry gun with a compact magazine and use the extended magazine for home defense. Carry 13 rounds of 9mm in the compact magazine and a whopping 19 rounds in the extended magazine. To see the entire family of Springfield Armory XDM pistols, go to SpringfieldArmory.com. That's SpringfieldArmory.com. You may be a new shooter, a longtime gun owner, or even a police officer or soldier. No personal defense handgun is fully equipped without a Crimson Trace laser sight or light. Get the confidence and reliability you need to protect family, home, and country. Call 800-442-2406 or visit crimsontrace.com for a free copy of our new laser training video, The Laser's Edge, Crimson Trace.
If you carry a gun, you need training. Your concealed carry class was definitely not training. But time, money, and obligations keep you from spending days at a shooting school. The trusted folks at Gun Talk can help. Concealed Carry 1, our DVD featuring the VADA Group, covers what gun, what holster, how to carry, where to wear your gun, and much more. Visit shopguntalk.com. That's shopguntalk.com. Look, this really is life and death. Learn how to stay aware, how to get away, and how to fight if you must. At shopguntalk.com, you can get the 2 DVD set, including Fighting with the 1911 with Tiger McKee. No matter what gun you carry, this vital training info can save your life. Learn the draw, the stance, reloading, vital gear from Gun Talk. That's shopguntalk.com. shopguntalk.com.
One machine, one operator. Each machine is run by a single pair of hands. Hands that spend all day, every day, learning the machine inside and out. We don't believe in quotas. The point is crafting faultless ammunition, no matter how long that takes. It's not quick or easy. Being the best never is. Black Hills Ammunition. It started with our hands.
Who is this Tom Gresham, and what's with all the gun stuff? Check out our FAQs at guntalk.com or email us your question or concern to tom@guntalk.com. Now, back to Gun Talk.
Oh, just got a great question. Tim sends me an email. He's in Carson City. Says, talking about the belt-fed semi-auto. Says, in those areas where they have magazine capacity limits, would a belt-fed gun run counter to magazine capacity limits? I don't know. It's not a magazine, but it is a contraption that holds ammo. Once again, of course, we have these silly cosmetic laws. Now, it's not to minimize the importance of them because they can put you in prison. They're still silly cosmetic laws. They probably didn't think about belt fed. Nobody thought about that. I don't know. Interesting question, though. All right, line 3. Kenny's with us in Missouri. Hello, Kenny. How are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Good. What you looking for here?
Well, I've got an old .22 rifle. I'm just trying to find out some information about it. It's a falling block, single shot. It's a real short, like a saddle carbine, and but it has a feed tube on it as if it were a repeater. It's a lever action, and it is made by a company called Agawam, Agawam, and I've not been able to find out anything about this gun. I got it in the 70s.
Agawam. There's an Agawam, Massachusetts.
Yes,
I'm just
and I went to the NRA convention up here in St. Louis last year and talked to the guy that literally wrote the book on single-shot rifles, and he couldn't tell me a thing about it.
I've never heard of this. I'll do a little bit more searching, but let's do this. Let's put out the call because somebody might know. Agawam, it's a rolling block style, but it has a tube. Now, is there a way for it to actually feed ammo from the tube, or is it actually really a single shot?
No, sir, it is a single shot. When you drop the lever, the breech falls, and you slide the shell in one at a time.
Son of a gun. I don't know. I'll tell you what, I'll do a little bit more looking. I'm finding a few things as I do a little bit of searching. Does it by any chance look at all like a lever action, just in the general look of it?
Completely. It is a lever action.
Okay. All right, what we've got here, that's just a single shot made to look like a lever action. All right, I'm with you now. Okay, I'm catching up. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll see if we can get some more information for you, and I'll keep looking it up, see if we can find something for you. But the only other source I was going to suggest that you take a look at would be the Blue Book of Gun Values. And if you don't have a copy, almost every gun store has a copy of it laying around. And you may be able to find this rifle listed there. That would be a possible place to go.
Okay. I've looked through the book before and haven't seen it, but I'll check it again.
All right, sounds good. Appreciate that call. Robert's in Arkansas on 2. Hey, Robert, what has you wound up here?
Well, I know last week you were talking about gun confiscation, and it's starting to go on in different places in the country, out in California, up in Connecticut, and so forth. And a lot of people are unaware that there is a section in the U.S. Code. It is Title 42, Section 5207, and you can just do a search on prohibition on confiscation of firearms. And it'll go through that. This essentially is what came out of the Vitter Amendment after Katrina, after they took away all the firearms down in Katrina. Then so many people were outraged that they got their Senator, David Vitter from Louisiana, to submit an amendment called the Vitter Amendment, or also known as the Emergency or Disaster Recovery Personal Preparedness Act. And it was overwhelmingly approved by both the House and the Senate. I think it was like 86-14. And so, in my opinion, I think every single person should look that up and should have a copy of that. So if they ever come and knocking, then we have something to give the officials. And one other thing I want to make sure that people know is there was a Supreme Court ruling called Marbury versus Madison.
Sure, that's the whole one.
Essentially, the gist of that is that any law passed that is in obvious disregard to the Constitution of the United States is no law and is therefore void. And so, in my opinion, if the Second Amendment isn't enough, then, between the U.S. Code and Marbury versus Madison, I think we pretty well got it covered. And all this gun confiscation that's starting to go on is just unconstitutional and unlawful.
All right, let me ask you, do you think there's anything in the Second Amendment that says that they can't outlaw some guns?
Well, the Second Amendment is pretty clear that we have the right to keep and bear arms. And so, granted that there has been a lot of change in the weapons that are available today as opposed to when the Second Amendment was originally introduced, but I think that the spirit of the law is that we need our firearms in order to fight against
that's all well and good in a general sense, but I'm talking about specifically the courts have ruled, and the Supreme Court has said that it's not a violation of the Second Amendment to ban some guns. And so these confiscations come about when they ban certain guns or require you to register certain guns, which that's a whole other deal there. I'm just saying that my point here is this. Just saying we have the Second Amendment is not enough, because I don't believe in the real world that the Second Amendment alone protects us from these confiscations.
Gun Talk stands for safety, personal responsibility, and common courtesy. To be a part of the show, call 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Gun Talk will be right back.
Hey, we got some lines open for you. You know, sometimes you just can't get in at all. Right now, you can. Give us a holler, 866-TALK-GUN, 866-825-5486. Also, don't forget to register for a chance to win our giveaway. It's the Console Vault deal. This is the great folks at Console Vault. They have these, well, they're vaults. They're boxes, steel boxes that you drop into the console of your truck or SUV. And you can lock a gun or anything else in there when you have to leave something in your car. Also, they have vaults or units that go in the wall. And if you win, you get your choice of anything they make, which is pretty cool. Just go to guntalk.com/win for a chance to win. If you want to see what they have, go to consolevault.com. You can take a look at all their cool products. Give us a holler, 866-TALK-GUN. We'll get you in here. Line 3, Tom is in Iowa. Hello, Tom.
Hi, Tom.
Yes, sir.
That fellow with the Agawam, I'm pretty sure, I don't have any reference material in front of me, but I'm pretty sure that was another branding of the Ithaca Model 49. It's basically a martini action except for an exposed hammer.
I think you're right. That's the searching I found says the same. Now, what I don't know is if it was a knockoff by another company or it was a rebranding and actually Ithaca put it out. Do you have any idea?
Something back in the back of my mind says that was a rebrand, but I can't be sure.
Okay. Interesting. Now, did you ever have one of those? Did you ever see one?
I still have my own 22 that I got in 1968. It was Ithaca 49.
Okay. Very cool. All right. Well, I think we are on the right track with this Agawam, Agawam, and it was either a knockoff or one that Ithaca put out under a different name. I appreciate that call. Line 2, Bill's in Minden, Nevada. Hello, Bill.
How you doing, Tom?
Which 1911 did you take out?
I just purchased a 22 TCM.
Which is?
It is a 40 grain, jacketed hollow point that is shot out of a para ordnance magazine for 9mm. So it's a 9mm sized case that's necked down to a 22, and it spits it out of there at about 2,100 feet per second.
22 TCM stands for, I think, Tucson Craig Micro Magnum, something like that?
Yeah.
Huh.
And what a fun gun to shoot.
Yeah. How's it running? Has it been reliable for you?
100%.
Very interesting. Now, I'm just looking them up here. This one says it's actually based on the 223 Remington case. Does that sound right?
Yeah, it's similar to both a 9mm and a 223, but it is its own case. They don't convert it to anything.
And the gun you have is the Rock Island, right?
Correct.
Okay, it looks like Rock Island is the one who's chambering it right now. Very interesting. Okay, I appreciate the heads up on that. I got to do a little more searching. I got to tell you, frankly, I'm not familiar with the 22 TCM. Haven't shot one, but now that I'm reading up on it, I think I want to. I like interesting, cool cartridges. Doesn't mean I'm going to buy a gun made for one, because the whole availability of ammo issue gets in there. So, all right, I made the statement earlier. I said, is the Second Amendment enough to prevent confiscation of guns? Well, I'm not sure it is. Should it be? Of course. But under the current laws, under the current interpretation, if you will, by courts and the Supreme Court, I wonder, what do you think? Do we need more than that, or is the Second Amendment enough? 866-TALK-GUN.
In most listening areas, there's one more hour of gun talk coming your way. Then stick around for the after show. After a short break, Tom will be right back with more gun talk. Keep it here on this great radio station.